You know what, y'all? This month, nothing, and I do mean nothing, went according to plan. But we carry on. Hey, y'all, Beth here with Dots and Beyond, and I am so done with February and ready to move on to March, continuing with my Fierce Fictional Female Challenge. I will link both January and February up in the cards above if you have not been following along with that challenge. January was Okoye of Black Panther, and February was Lorraine of Atomic Blonde. But I am ready to move on. February was a rough month, and in March we are going to be celebrating Daenerys from Game of Thrones. Now I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't I have done this in December? Winter is coming and all of that. But while I was planning this setup, winter was most definitely coming to the south. We most definitely were not prepared for it. And this video is most definitely late because of all of the trauma that snow and ice brought to Arkansas. But we carry on and we persevere, and I'm going to kick out both this video and my work bullet journal for March video this week. So stay tuned for that one on Friday so we can get back to our regularly scheduled programming. As you can see, I already have my cover page sketched out here. I always start with this sketched out. I've said this before, but I am not a great artist and I am an okay copier. I'm not even a great copier, as you will find out in this video, because man, did the face situation and getting people's faces correct trip me up this month. Originally, I was going to do Storm from the X-Men for March because it is the beginning of tornado season in Arkansas, but there are some stylistic issues that I need to figure out with that particular setup. She will definitely service at some point in the year. I've just got to tweak a few things and figure out how I want to do that. So I did go ahead and go with Daenerys this month. I appreciate a good dragon moment. Always happy to have a good dragon moment, and that may be part of the reason why I chose to do her. I am doing all of this initial outlining with a Pigma Micron fine liner. This is the 0.05. If you've watched my channel before, you know this is my go-to pen. It's my daily writing pen. I do a lot of my outlining with it. It's just the perfect medium sort of weight for me in getting these things done. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was terrified to try to do some realistic recreation of Daenerys in this setup. And I surprised myself quite a lot with this cover page, and then that was it. Some of the other stuff is great. The faces, I had a really hard time with her face, as I mentioned before, and so we do come along and have to do some fixing along the way, but that's how bullet journals are. That's how trying to brush up your artistic skills are. It just takes practice and practice and practice, and obviously I need a little bit more. Here I am using my black Tombow, which is the N15, to color in all of this background. And since this is going to take me just a little bit, let's just go ahead and chat about Dots and Beyond. While there's more of you watching than there are subscribed, and I totally understand that. I channel hop a lot too, but I really would appreciate it. If you like these videos, or if you're getting any sort of inspiration out of them, if you would go ahead and subscribe and help me grow this just a little bit. Dots and Beyond is a passion project of mine. It's more of a creative outlet than anything. You can also find me on Instagram at Dots and Beyond. The handle is the same. Back to the cover page where I'm adding the title in for March, and then we are going to add some color. Here I made a decision to not just use the blue markers that I had picked out, but to actually do the watercolor effect with them. To do this, you just need a slick surface, rub a little bit of marker on there. This is a Dollar Tree plate. And then use water and a paintbrush or a blending brush if you happen to have one of those. I haven't invested in one of those quite yet. Here I am realizing that there is a little bit of a bleed through from the pink on my Atomic Blonde setup on the other page. I've decided to shrug it off and carry on with my Dutch door dragon wing for the moment. Once it's cut out, I'm going to trace this dragon wing onto the other page so I know where to color the black exactly on that page so that I can get the effect that I want with the Dutch door. You will see me flip back and forth a couple of times as I ponder what I'm going to do about that bleed through color on both sides, but otherwise I keep working along. And on the other side of my cover page, I do have this neat dragon wing to work within. The left side will be some reminders or words of wisdom, if you will, from Game of Thrones. At the first reading, once you've accepted your flaws, no one can use them against you. That is said by Tyrion. The second, chaos isn't a pit, chaos is a ladder, by Patir. Everything before the word but is horseshit, from John, which is one of my favorites. And of course, I am no ordinary woman, my dreams come true, from Daenerys. I'll get some dragon doodles in here, and then on the right will be my calendar. I do prefer a linear calendar for my planning. I do use a traditional square calendar for what I'm calling my monthly challenge, and that'll be on the next page. But for now, we are going to finish this up with those dragons and a doodle of Daenerys and her 3 baby dragons in the bottom right corner. Let me know in the bottom if you're a linear calendar person or a traditional square calendar person. I'm always interested to see which one of us is which when it comes to planning our months. It's kind of like who starts their weeks on a Sunday and who starts their weeks on a Monday. Like I said, each month I am doing some sort of challenge. For March 2021, I am going to do 31 days of mindfulness. I am a follower of the Where Is My Mind podcast that is hosted by Niall Breslin. He also has a short series each morning and evening on Spotify called the Wake Up Wind Down, in which he did 31 days of mindfulness in January. I participated along, but I didn't actually write or journal those prompts, and I feel like that deserves more attention. So I'm going to go back and revisit that, and then this calendar is just a place for me to jot down the prompt, and then I will actually do the journaling in a different journal. I will put the link for Niall's Wake Up Wind Down on Spotify in the description box below, along with a list of any of the supplies that I am using today, as well as any of the inspiration I took from specific artists. I do take the time to link those below as I can find them. Sometimes they're on Pinterest and you have to dig a little deep to find where the original artist is, but I do definitely put those down there as well. For the thematic element on the page, I do have Daenerys rising from the flames being watched over by a dragon's eye. This was the first time that I did use watercolor in this journal. I've used gouache with no problems. The watercolor did bleed through, and I don't think I used an extraordinary amount of water, so I was a little bit surprised. Next up is my creative page. I am totally changing this up for March. January and February wasn't working for me. I was trying to track some data that I'm definitely happier just looking at the canned data on YouTube or Instagram that comes with the account. So my themes for March, obviously, in my personal journal, it is Daenerys. In my work journal, I'm doing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. In my work journal, I have been doing some of my favorite science fiction and fantasy films, television shows, or books. And then I do have just sort of a what are my follower counts at the beginning of the month, the end of the month, a small content calendar for me to mark the days that I post a video, Instagram, blog post, or publish a new Spotify playlist. And then on the left, I have 4 spots, 4 circles for my YouTube videos. I will write the name of the video in the center, and then in each one of these sections, I will color code it along the way, sort of like my personal Kanban board to see where I am in doing that video, whether it's idea, sketch, film, edit, write, voiceover, photos, or posting. To go with it is this very simple sketch of Daenerys watching her dragons fly in the distance. And again, using that watercolor technique to get the blue. For my mood tracker, I did want to get several dragon elements into the equation. Again, I mentioned I do love a good dragon moment. So I do still have the 3 dragons flying around, but then I have drawn Daenerys tucked into the tail of a dragon, and she is also holding a dragon's egg. And then where I will actually fill in my mood tracker are the spines of the dragon tail coming down. I'll number those 1 through 31 and color code those. But this is one of the drawings where her face just goes all wrong. I have a terrible time with it. I can't get it right. And eventually I do decide to come over and just paint it white and leave her faceless. And it actually makes me a little happier than looking at Daenerys with kind of a troll face. So again, not the greatest artist. I'm definitely working on it. And we'll see how things progress throughout the year as I continue to do this fierce fictional female challenge and how I portray these ladies, or whether my artistic skills can get better when it comes to facial expressions. I actually used to do a lot of art in high school and that sort of era, but I am older than a lot of the bullet journalers out there, and it's definitely been a long time since I've had to practice these skills. Let's move on to my wellness tracker, where I track sleep, blood pressure, medications, low carb, low sugar, exercise, read, write, and create. I did lose some footage here, so there is going to be a jump between this spread and the next, which is almost completed when we jump. I'll definitely show them to you at the flip through. This is another one of the pages that I had a difficult time with Daenerys's face. There is that jump where I lost footage, and you see me here finishing up my brain dump page and then a new dream page. I'm trying to decide if I need a dream journal, so we'll see if I use this page and need to start one of those. And now we're moving on to my weekly, where the biggest change I have made is to do away with a full spread to track my meals every month, and I've moved that meal tracking onto the weeklies for this month to see if I will use it more often. So that's what you see down at the bottom. I do rank my meals, that's what the squares are for, from great, good, poor, and WTF. I then have a spot for each of the days, as well as a rolling task list, and then we will be ready to do the flip through. Back to the cover page for the flip through, and you can see that I fixed some of the pink areas that were peeking through. I just touched them up with white gouache. My gel pen wasn't necessarily working to cover it up. There's your peek at the end of February with my atomic blonde setup, but that worked. I did touch up some other areas with the white gel pen where it was coming through, and that always works great. So here are my reminders or quotes for the month, as well as my linear calendar. Flipping over to the 31 Days of Mindfulness. Again, that is from the Wake Up Wind Down on Spotify by Niall Breslin, and again, I'll link it below. This is my creative spread, which I'm excited to use, and tracking how progress goes on my YouTube videos for the month. And then again, come back for my Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy spread on Friday. This is how my mood tracker turned out. As you can see, I did come along and fill in Daenerys' face with a little bit of white gouache. There's a very good chance I will come back through the course of the month and try to practice getting that straight and correct, but for now it was bugging me and I just had to cover it up. I am a little bit baffled how I could get the cover page so right for me and not get this one right. But that's how art goes. You just practice, like I said before, and you keep carrying on. Here is a better look at my wellness spread. The swords there from the Game of Thrones throne, I did use a printable instead of drawing those out individually. Again, this is my mind map or ideas page, and then the beginning of what would be a dream log, just to determine if I need to start a dream journal. And then, of course, the first week of March with my new meal log at the bottom to see if I will start using it on the weekly, since I was not going back and filling it in on the monthly. That's it. Thank you guys for sticking with me. This has been a rough month. It took days to get this filmed with all of the power outages and everything else we had going on. Have a great day. Bye-bye.